it just warm your black little heart when you saw all of these flyers for all of these metal festivals and you saw the Pantera logo on said flyers? As in the Pantera reunion tour, or tribute tour, or whatever they're billing it as now. Well, it's billed as just Pantera, not a tribute to Pantera, like a lot of people would be happy with. Judas Priest, who was on many of these festivals, even had the stupid little 50 heavy metal years subtext. I guess putting a tribute to Pantera would have cost too much ink at the printers. See, the problem a lot of people seem to be having isn't that Phil and Rex are getting together with two other guys and playing Pantera songs. No, it's the arrogance of calling it just Pantera, with the same reverence as the old Pantera when the Abbotts were still alive. So it makes you wonder, when they talk in interviews for these tours, are they going to speak in the same reverence and the same respect as they did for the Pantera of the past? Oh yeah, this is just like when we went back on the road for Ozfest in 2000, and this is with the same goddamn energy as when we played Monsters of Rock in goddamn Russia. Look, they picked good people to replace the Abbotts, okay? But, you know, a lot of people are pretty upset over it, and you can't blame them. These are two key members that are gone from existence now. Dime has been dead since 2004, Benny's been dead for a few years, and when he died, he still hated Phil Anselmo's guts. So it feels wrong on a moral level for a lot of people. And some people are gonna say, oh, well, it doesn't matter so much, they're both dead now. Well, for some people, that's exactly the problem. They can't say no anymore, you know? And, you know, to quote one of the guys, one of them said, if you're so angry about it and you don't like it, then don't come. Don't worry, I won't. And a lot of people won't either, but it's not gonna matter because no matter how angry people get, people are still going to pack venues when Pantera comes to town. They're taking over this town. Step aside, will they coming from hell? Okay, brief aside. It just makes you wonder, okay, why stop here? I mean, we've got Pantera doing this thing right now with new members, which they're good new members, they're good replacement members. And we've got Static X, meanwhile, going on their upcoming tour, and they've got Zero dressed up in a Wayne Static mask. It's one of the more interesting ways that I've ever seen a band carry on after a member died. But fuck it, why stop there? I mean, people are gonna call us gatekeepers and elitists for calling this stuff as it is, and that's fine, so why not have a little fun with it? I'm brainstorming some ideas, okay? All these bands that won't reunite or ended because of the death of a band member, okay? All these classic bands, okay, like The Clash, Joe Strummer. Okay, The Clash won't get back together because Joe Strummer's dead. Well, I mean, Billy Joe Armstrong. I mean, he's not Joe Strummer, obviously. He's not really in the same league as him, but I feel like Billy Joe would show enough appreciation and respect for what The Clash did. I mean, these are only hypotheticals, by the way. I'm not being serious. Don't actually do these, guys. But see, I'm a giant Ramones fan, so let's face it. Marky Ramone, CJ Ramone, and Elvis Ramone, they're the only three living Ramones, if I'm remembering correctly. And Elvis Ramone, nobody really gives a shit about anymore. So let's see, Marky and CJ Ramone. Let's watch them go. Hey, we're getting the Ramones back together for a reunion tour. We're gonna play all your favorite old Ramones songs, and we're gonna have Johnny Rotten on vocals, and we're gonna have Dr. No from Bad Brains on guitar. Wouldn't that be awesome? It's just the Ramones, not a tribute to the Ramones. You know, that's the thing about a lot of these tribute bands. On the ticket stubs, you know, it says a tribute to Motley Crue, a tribute to Creedence Clearwater Revival, a tribute to AC/DC. What about Typo Negative? They ended after the unfortunate death of Peter Steele. Who can we get to replace him? Pete's not really a replaceable guy. There aren't many people like him. Not anybody who can sing like he did and play bass at the same time, anyway. Well, as far as the bass lines are concerned, we could get Josh Silver to just program the bass lines like the Doors did when they played live. Fernando from Moonspell! Yes, we can get Fernando from Moonspell to replace Peter Steele. And the rest of the guys from Typo Negative are gonna be like, yeah, let's do a Typo reunion tour! Fuck yeah! Okay, admittedly, that would actually sound kind of cool. Actually, some of these actually sound pretty cool. I mean, I wouldn't want any of these bands to actually do this, but hypothetically. What about Joy Division? I love Joy Division. Who can do Ian Curtis's voice with justice? Andrew Eldritch. He's a bit of a pompous ass, but you know what? If you can tie him up and drag him on the tour bus, his vocal range is just similar enough he could make it work. Lemmy Kilmister, it would be hard to imagine Motorhead without Lemmy Kilmister, but in this great money-driven world we live in, we could make it happen, baby. So who can we get? Well, it's kind of hard to replace Lemmy too. He's irreplaceable. But if you gotta replace him, let's replace one no-singing fucker with another no-singing fucker. Lemmy, he made it work. Let's see, who else is a no-singing fucker in rock and roll? Brian Johnson. He lost his voice in the 80s, so now he sounds like, you've been thunderstruck. Okay, so imagine Brian Johnson singing Motorhead. It works, doesn't it? Fuck it. Who we get playing bass? The Ramones and Motorhead were pretty tight with each other, so hey, we could get CJ Ramone on bass. Or if you want somebody more aggressive, we could get one of the thrash metalers like, you know, Jack Gibson of Exodus. Who else do I have here? Bathory! How do you replace a one-man band? Well, it was a one-man band after the first couple of albums, but, you know, I mean, Korthon. How do you replace Korthon? With another black metal legend. A bot. We can call it a Bathory. Please make this happen. The Minutemen. You know, we could get Greg from Black Flag to replace D. Boone. And since everybody goes gaga over grunge so much, what about Nirvana? You know, Dave Grohl could take over in Kurt's place if he wanted, but fuck it, let's get a friend of Kurt's. Let's get Buzz Osborne from the Melvins. Okay, that's actually really cool. Could you imagine, as fanatical as Rush's fan base is, if Rush replaced Neil Peart? Dude, their own fan base would implode! But if you're gonna do it, get Mike Portnoy. I think he'd be up for the job. I mean, he's into that technical stuff anyway, so why not? I mean, if you're gonna do tribute bands, do it right, you know? Like Death. Death, when they did their tribute bands, Death to All and Left to Die, they didn't label it Death. But if you're gonna label it Death, Matt Harvey would be the man for the job. Now, for those of you who still want to go to the Pantera tribute show or reunion show, or whatever you want to call it, go have a great time, because those songs are probably going to sound amazing live. They sounded good live when I saw Phil H. and Somo and the Illegals do it when they opened for Slayer a few years ago. It sounded pretty good, and Phil seemed to be happy playing those songs again, so, I mean, why not? I mean, Pantera is one of the most revered and respected bands in metal anyway. And a lot of people like myself never got to see the real Pantera when they were around. I was too young. I was born in '95, so yeah. I mean, for all the people like me who never got to see them, this is the closest you can get to seeing it. So go see it. Let me clarify. I don't have a problem with Phil and Rex and Zach and Charlie doing this. Not at all. They should do it if they want. The problem is the name. Just call it a tribute to Pantera. Or Mouth for War, well, there's already a band Mouth for War, or Far Beyond Driven, or something else besides Pantera, you know? But people are gonna see it, people are gonna enjoy it. Some people are gonna whine and, you know, they're gonna get called gatekeepers and elitists for it, but it's not gonna matter. Because guess what? Pantera is gonna sell out every venue they book. And why shouldn't they? I mean, we're all about reunions and tributes and stuff like that these days. So, thank you for listening, and be sure to come up with your own hypothetical band reunions. Grind on!